areas of life. I'm your host, life coach, and productivity expert, Scott Snow. We have an extra special treat today. Nicole Brown is with us. Nicole Brown speaks through personal experience on mindset, hard work, and perseverance. She is a single mother of 3, working 2 jobs most times, going through sexual assault growing up, and overcoming countless obstacles in life. Nicole has learned how to overcome and implement the importance of having the right mindset while maintaining discipline and perseverance to reach her goals in life. The ability to share her obstacles and triumphs with an interactive view allows the audience tools to implement immediately to start to shift their mind. Please welcome Nicole Brown. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, I can tell you're a very passionate person. We're friends on Facebook, and you put a lot of awesome content out for that. And so what are some of the things you're passionate about?
Oh gosh, life in general, but pretty much just helping others, empowering women, mental health. I'm also a veteran, so assisting veterans in any way possible, being an advocate for the homeless, those experiencing homelessness, and yeah, just all around trying to be a good human being.
That's awesome. Now, you also mentioned that you were a MMA fighter. Well, you are a MMA fighter and trainer, right?
I am a kickboxing coach. Yes, I did fight. I fought for a few years. My last fight was in 2016 before I blew up my knee. So yeah.
Wow. Now, what's that like stepping into the ring?
I think it took until my last fight to even kind of get the jitters out. When I stopped focusing on other fighters, a lot of fighters, they kind of review their opponent's material and things like that. And then finally a teammate said, just stop, just focus on what you're good at. And then when you get in there, you'll do it. So I did that and I started winning and stopped psyching myself out. So, yeah, once you do that, like there's a whole nother transformation, and it's just something about being able to showcase your skills and test yourself about it, and then also know that you've accomplished something that most people don't get to accomplish, and then having your hand raised at the end of it is just icing on the cake. So yeah, it's great.
Wow. And so you also do some training with kickboxing?
I do. I coach young teen girls over at Gains Fit Club, and I also coach the women, and I combine mind, body, and spirit with it. So at the end of every class, I ask them to do, depending on how much time we have and how many ladies are in the class, to tell me something they love about themselves, something they're grateful for, and then something as I am or I have for their future selves. So yeah.
Mm. When did you start with this pursuit of your own self-development?
Ooh. Let's see. I did this course called Landmark Forum, I'd say probably 17 years ago. And I was married at the time. And then in 2016, I really just started going full on. That's when, I got divorced and started just kind of being able to figure out who I was and taking a stand for myself, and really wanted to learn how to take my voice back and stand in my power. So started going to different conferences, and I love speaking. I love making a difference for others through whatever it is I have to say. And every time I do speak, and even when I go to work, I ask God, Creator, Allah, whatever you want to call it, to speak through me for the message that is needed. So I've kind of just taken the runway since 2016 and just keep going.
I've always heard the term landmark forum, and I believe that I was there for one. When they have like an introductory bring your friend kind of day. So what was the course like, and what is it?
How do you describe Landmark Forum? So, I mean, you've been to conferences, yes?
Yep.
Okay. So I would have, I, I guess you could compare it to a conference or like a business that has separate conferences, because I also went to their communication course. So I took that as well. So I think in many aspects of different businesses, like there was Success Resources, and then now there's the Unleash You Now family. So I think every group has their niche on what they do and they focus on. So Landmark Forum was, I think it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where you have breakthroughs and kind of really start to open that unmasking. And one of the best exercises I still use to this day is they ask you to do like chocolate and vanilla and choose. And there's no other option. It's chocolate or vanilla. And then ask you why you chose. And you're like, I don't know, there was two options. So, and then they break that down. And then the next one I went communication course. I did that exercise in my interview for my job, and it's something similar as to tell me what you see on this side of the bottle, and then I'm going to tell you what I see on my side of the bottle. And then essentially you come around to understanding that if you come around together to see the same side, then you're going to communicate better, as opposed to, no, this is my view, no, this is my view. Mm-hmm. So and then with Success Resources, I did Millionaire Mindset Intensive, and that was an amazing, I mean, that's indescribable. And then I did their Train the Trainer for public speaking, and you get to learn how to write programs, and that's kind of like a 4-day course. And you also have, everything's about breakthroughs and breaking through your fear barriers, and you have to in order to grow. So it's just kind of running toward it. So,
and that was called Millionaire Mindset?
Yeah, Millionaire Mindset Intensive. That's it was put together by T. Harv Eker, I believe. He has that book that oh gosh, it's a little yellow book. I think it's Secrets of Success. Mm-hmm. Don't quote me on that. It's in my backpack. I've read it twice.
Wow. I'll look it up and I'll put it in the show notes for sure.
That's good.
So the Landmark is basically a weekend course, or is it like a recurring time that you go?
I think you can go again. I don't know. I know we have one here in Chicago. I know they're all over the place. I have a friend that does one. She's part of it. She does one out in Costa Rica. Mm-hmm. So I haven't been involved with them for 17 plus years. So,
wow. So it's not something you keep in contact with everyone that was in your class and that sort of thing.
You can if you choose to, but I didn't.
Now, I've also had Michael Faber on this podcast. He's a wild man.
He is amazing.
Yeah. Now, was he part of Landmark?
No, he's Unleash You Now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you also went to his conference or his mastermind program?
The mastermind is this weekend, and the conference, I believe, got pushed back to March due to COVID. And then I do believe there's an online course coming out at some point. Mm-hmm. I'm just not sure when. But yeah, the Unleash You Now family is, you hit that gap where one conference, as unfortunately Success Resources, had some struggles. So I was like, where's my new home? And I was searching and I found a coach, but when you get to know somebody, sometimes the vibes aren't the same as what you thought they were when you started. So a lot of us were in that Rise Up Challenge group, and we just kind of connected from there, and love everything that the Unleash You Now family is about. I did their international speakers course twice.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm really excited when they say they're there for you, they really mean it. Mm-hmm. So
what was your experience with the Air Force, and how do you think that changed you?
Ooh.
And how much time do we have here?
I don't know who thinks it's okay to let us sign our lives away at 18, especially now that I have 2 on their way to 18. So, and I work on the Navy base, and I'm like, feed the babies. So I was sexually assaulted in the military. So I made it through boot camp. I loved boot camp. I would actually love to do all of the service boot camps just to compare. I'm a workout freak like that. So, and I went through AIT. I got to my duty station, and my TIs got really mad at me because I was actually scheduled for Germany, and I swapped. You have like a 2-day period at the end of boot camp where they give you, or I'm sorry, at the end of AIT where they give you your duty station and you have the opportunity to swap with some teammates. And I got yelled at because I swapped for Nebraska, but I was a mama's girl, so I wanted to be close to home. But yeah, I went through a military sexual assault, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
it happens more often than you know, not only with the females, but the males as well.
Hmm.
And I'm still fighting today for a claim, and they destroyed my medical records. So thankfully, I went to the hospital, and the hospital still has my medical records. But that's the military for you. So yeah, I'm still recovering from that. I went to New Mexico for a year to go through cognitive behavioral treatment therapy for that, and then now I'm back home.
Hmm. And where do you live now?
I'm in Illinois.
Oh, okay. And I loved hearing about your stand-up comedy
Oh God,
foray. Now that takes a lot of guts.
that
Tell us
was
about that.
horrible. So in the international speakers course, you're given many challenges, and I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not to, but I was challenged to do a stand-up routine, but the first time I did it, we had to go live because everything was shut down. So I was like, okay, I already went live. Let's go live. So, and comedy is not my thing. My kids, they're funny. Well, my 16-year-old is the comedian of the house. So I feel like I'm unintentionally funny.
Yeah.
And so I did it, and I was scared poopless.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of people liked it, and the comedy club asked me to come back. So
Wow.
I don't know, like I said, I'm running towards fear because that's the fastest way to break through anything.
That's great. Well, that's an inspiration to all of our listeners who are mostly entrepreneurs and solopreneurs. So this kind of sharing your experiences is really helpful. Now let's shift gears a little bit to productivity. What are some of the apps and software technology habits that you use for your productivity?
So right now I'm using StreamYard because it hits dual Facebook Live and YouTube, and then
Wait, what was it again?
StreamYard.
StreamYard. Okay, and
Mhm.
what does that do?
So StreamYard, so you don't have to do a Facebook Live, you don't have to do a Zoom, you don't have to do a YouTube. It kind of combines everything together so you can hit different methods at the same time and only do one. You can also schedule out when your lives go. So if you have something else to do, you can just schedule them out for however long you want them out. And then for LinkedIn is doing a trial right now, and you have to be at a certain level where they'll accept you to do it through StreamYard. StreamYard also is allowing to do it on mobile as well, but the connection's not as good. So
Mm-hmm.
through that, just organic marketing. I'm launching my first program this month. So
Congratulations.
thank you. A lot of the girls that I'm coaching already, they and their moms want to be a part of it. So that will probably take up the first course. So I'm really excited about that.
That's great. Now, let's see. What would you say is your secret to staying highly creative, and how do you foster that creativity?
Meditation.
Hmm.
I'm very busy. I'm working 2 jobs. I'm a single mom of 3, and I'm trying to launch everything. So what I've learned is that it's okay to rest.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't collapse. Not that I've done that at all. Meditation and just I have my daily journal that I write in, and I bring it to work. I bring it anywhere I can. So that way, if something just comes to 5 minutes later, I'm not forgetting it and saying, what was that thing? So always keeping a journal handy. It doesn't have to be that big, but I like hardcovers. So, but yeah.
So is that a journal that you keep every day?
It's my daily gratitude. It's my wins for the day. So I'm focusing constantly on the wins and not the frustration. It's any ideas that pop up when I'm at work, I always have something inspirational or motivational in the background. So if I hear something that catches me, then I'll pause what I'm doing and go back and write it. Yeah,
That's
whatever.
great.
I let my passion take over whatever else I'm doing.
So it sounds like you're always on the prowl for those creative and positive messages.
Yeah, constantly.
That's great. What is your tip for having a good work-life balance, if there is any?
Ooh, take the time you need and just go at your pace. And I'm just allowing myself to be okay with it's okay to go at my pace and I don't have to run to catch up to anybody, because I do understand I have a lot on my plate, and I understand there's a lot of single moms out there. There's a lot of single dads out there who are just trying to put food on the table, let alone, chase the kids around and take them to sports and activities and then focus on whatever you have to do. And then for me also, I have to consider the mental health aspect, because I also have PTSD and recurrent depression that I'm being treated for. So I always feel like I have to be superwoman and never really allow myself that time to recover, especially on low days. Because with PTSD, you have high days and low days. They very often confuse it with bipolar, because it's such a spectrum. But not being down on myself for just being able to watch a video, or not being down on myself for, just meditating and understanding, which is why I started writing the wins for the day, because I think Michael challenged us not too long ago with the Unleash You Now family to pick one thing that you can do for the week and start implementing. So that was my one thing, was writing down my wins for the day instead of saying, oh, I didn't do this, 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 and this. No, I did do this, 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 and this. So just honoring what I have done, and also scheduling time out, allocating time. So like Tuesdays and Thursday nights, those are my time, and Sundays to focus on the kids and to focus on growing my business and networking. So those are my allocated times, because every other time I'm working 2 jobs.
What's your process for meditation?
I do guided meditation. I listen to Abraham Hicks, and I also just do vibrational music in the background sometimes. Don't do that on your way to work. I wouldn't recommend it. I zoned out once. And then my mom taught me Candlelight Meditation. So I do that. That's kind of the only way I can do silent meditation. I'm still trying to silence the already always listening, or the monkey brain, as Darren Hardy calls it. So I'm still working on that sitting in silence thing. But if I have something to focus on, like a flame, then I can kind of maneuver my way around that.
How long do you usually do that? Is that a daily thing?
Oh yeah. Every morning I'll do the guided meditation for 15 minutes, and then I'll do the silent meditation for 10 minutes.
How it seems like you're also very into being fit and working out. What's your routine for your body, like staying in shape? A lot of us need that help.
Yeah. Right now, so your diet is anything you put in your mouth. Whatever you choose to put in your mouth, that's your diet. So I don't like saying, most people have the misconception of, oh, I'm going on a diet. I'm going on a diet. No, I mean, Cheetos can be your diet. It's what you're putting in your mouth. So I just focus more ketogenic. For me, that's what works. When I have carbs, my body swells up. So, but I allow myself to cheat every now and again. And over quarantine, I cheated maybe a little too much. But so I'm back on the ketogenic, which is high fat, medium protein, low carbs. The carbs come from either berries or from your vegetables, such as leafy greens, cauliflower, broccoli, things of that nature. In regards to a workout routine, I was injured for 3 months on the way coming back from New Mexico. We were in a car accident. So I'm just now starting to get released back to work out. So right now it's that every other day kind of thing. Usually it's 6 days a week.
Wow. Now, do carbs like swell you up, like swell anybody up, like in general? Is it what is it about carbs you think that makes is it inflammation or puffiness or fat?
Well, it's not fat, I don't think. I think that the problem is they're putting so much chemicals in our food nowadays that the majority of our food is chemical based. So it's important to look at what's in it. And what I tell people that I'm coaching is stay to the outside of the grocery store because there's nothing good on the inside.
Mhm.
The only thing I'll buy in a bag that's for me, because I'm not going to allow my kids not to be kids, is frozen vegetables, and that's because they're picked at their prime. So, and they don't dwindle away after a week. So, other than that, it's just meats. You want to look for meat that's been put with carrageenan in it, which they're using, I believe there's over 75 ways to say sugar. So they add that to kind of hold firm whatever, stop the process of decomposition,
Right.
you know, unnecessarily. So watching that, um, yeah, just really watching the sugars. And when it says no added sugar, usually there's added sugar. They just gave it another name.
You wake up at 4 a.m., right?
3:30.
Wow. And now, why and how do you do that?
How?
I mean, I could never imagine waking up that early. So how do you do it? And you work early, obviously, right?
I have to be at work at 6 and I leave the
Wow.
house at 5:15. So I'm
Mm,
up at 3:30. Um, the moment my alarm goes off, I turn the meditation on.
mhm.
And then the moment the meditation's over, then I get up and I put the timer on for the second meditation. Then I make my coffee. And then that's my time to write my gratitude for the day. Um, anything I have going on mentally that I want to write out, or um, yeah, read. That's my quiet time where nobody's awake.
Yeah, right.
And then I'm pretty much up until about 10:30. So I get
Mm,
like 5 hours? No, no,
okay.
5 hours. Unless it's a Sunday. That's the only day I don't set my alarm.
What are some of the most important lessons you've learned from your mentors, or maybe, one example of from a mentor?
From a mentor. Wow, there's been so many. That's a good question.
Mhm.
How do I how do I shrink that one down? I think a constant thing I've heard is that I'm my own worst enemy. And from my coach to, you know, business mentors to health mentors, it's I get in my own way. So, which is why I've been pushing so hard to just break past every fear barrier that comes through, because if I can do that, then there's nothing that can stop me. So I've built a lot of confidence with what they've been telling me. And it's a constant learning cycle. And I feel like we were given two ears and one mouth for a reason. So I do my best to just receive what I can from everyone I come across.
You seem very strong. Where do you think you got your strength from, your inner strength?
Pain.
Hmm.
Yeah, we all go through a lot in life, and we choose if we're going to continue the cycle. We choose if we're going to stay in it and continue to play the victim role, or we choose to be something different than our past. We choose to break the generational curses and the cycles. Everything is a choice. And I'd never want anyone to feel the amount of pain that I felt growing up, that I've been through over the last, God, 37 years as a whole, 38. But I feel I know what my purpose is, and I stand in my purpose to the best of my ability. I'm by no means perfect, and I snap off like any other human being. But my kids right now, my kids are my strength, because I wholeheartedly believe that I would not be here if it were not for my kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're a real inspiration. What's a hobby that you enjoy that most people may be surprised about?
Drawing.
Mm-hmm. What kind of drawing do you like?
Um, so with my meditations, I get a lot of sometimes people's angels will come through, and I'll draw their angels, and then I'll give it to them. So yeah, that.
So it's kind of like visions or images that come to you.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. There's been times where I haven't been able to sleep until I draw it, so they're kind of persistent.
Mm-hmm. Besides your occupations, what are some of the other hats that you wear?
Being a mom.
Mm-hmm.
um, International speaker and a coach for self-love and acceptance, empowerment coach, mental health advocate. I have a lot of certifications. I don't have a degree in mental health yet. I'm working on it. And standing in your power and taking your voice back and understanding the importance of being in your own energy, and that it's okay to say no.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Good for you. Where can people go to get more information about what you do and what you're doing?
So I can be emailed. I don't have a web page yet. I'm on Facebook as Nicole and Carter, and that's for other reasons. But you can just find me anywhere pretty much. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And then my email is brown.n.8282 @gmail.
Great. What have you found has been helpful for you in terms of social media, getting the word out and connecting? And what platforms do you like?
I connect with people just by reaching out. I find the groups that are like-minded, more growth groups, and I've had to actually delete a growth group because it was more non-growth focused than anything. So I reach out and just connect on a personal level. No business, no. Hey, you've gotten those messages where people friend request you and they're like, hey, here's my product. I'm like, oh, buy me
Yeah,
dinner first.
right.
um,
So you're
to
talking
me,
about
it's,
Facebook groups?
yeah, any group, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, I'll connect with, and anyone really. Um, Anyone that's impactful or I feel is impactful. And, everything gets inundated. But to me, it's just when you're genuine and you're operating from your purpose, then things will align. Yeah, right now it's just about building relationships and bonds.
Mm-hmm. My last question, Nicole, is what's one powerful action step that our listeners can take to help them lead a more fulfilling life?
Just one.
Or maybe a couple, sure.
Push past fear.
Mm.
Run toward it, because what's the worst that's going to happen unless you're jumping off a cliff? Like, don't do that. But if it's something like getting up at a comedy club and you're absolutely terrified, go do it. If it's going up to a complete stranger and you just feel like you have something to say, just go do it. If you have a business idea that's on your mind, go do it. And if you don't know how to do it, reach out to different groups or different people that you might be able to guide you toward those groups. And don't be afraid to let go, because you're not who you were. Allow yourself that opportunity to grow. So
That's great. Well, I think people are really going to get a lot out of this episode. Nicole, I want to thank you for coming on.
thank you. I appreciate it.
All right.